Remember the days where certain multi-platform releases would actually have exclusive content based on which console it released on? Before the days of nickel and diming customers for every little bit of extra content, publishers struck deals with platform holders to do exclusive content for their upcoming releases. For this topic, I wanted to cover a handful of games that had exclusive content on the GameCube version that simply could not be experienced on any other platform's version. To clarify, this will not include any games with Game Boy Advance connectivity, as that will be covered in another video specific to that functionality in the near future. Instead, this covers games that had extra content without requiring the Game Boy Advance. Now, this won't be every game that has the exclusive content, but it's a majority that I had available at the time of recording. Before we begin, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any GameCube related content. Alright, with that being said, let's get this topic started. To kick off the list, we have EA Sports' Fight Night Round 2. This boxing series became fairly popular over time, but what I found awesome was that you can unlock Little Mac from Punch Out to play as in the ring. They actually designed him on how he would look with the game's graphical engine, while still retaining his Super Punch Out appearance. He does need to be unlocked by beating the campaign, or you could just create a fighter, make his first name Mac-Man, go to the quick play, choose heavyweight class, and then select Little Mac right there. Using Little Mac to knock out other boxing legends is pretty epic.
Where he is, I think this is the...
Watch for his power shots.
Holyfield's in real trouble. He goes down. He's on the floor. Little Mac hit him perfectly. Watch this action, and boom, down he goes.
This was such a cool bonus to the GameCube version, but there is a little bit more. That's right, every GameCube copy of Fight Night Round 2 also had a full version of the SNES Classic Super Punch Out. The emulation here is pretty solid, and I found myself hooked playing this again when capturing the footage. Overall, these exclusive content features were reason enough alone to choose the GameCube version over the PS2 and Xbox versions.
Fight!
Beat the cake.
SSX was a heck of a series for the 6th generation of consoles, and while SSX3 remains one of my favorite games of all time, SSX On Tour was a massive step backwards for the series in my opinion. The signature 60 frames per second was decreased to 30 frames, the controls were changed a bit, and the full-blown rock theme that tried to imitate the Guitar Hero aesthetic just made the game feel like it was no longer SSX, but rather its own new IP. However, despite my personal thoughts for SSX On Tour, there is one thing I do have to give it: the GameCube exclusive content that lets you play as Mario, Luigi, or Peach. Being able to shred the mountain with these iconic Nintendo characters really does add a ton to this game, and the developers clearly went the extra mile by incorporating sound effects from the series as well as their respective voices. You can only play as them in the quick play mode, but it's still pretty awesome. Mario and Luigi use snowboards, while Peach uses skis, which was first introduced in this installment. Who would have thought Mario and the gang had the skills to pay the bills? Yes, I know it's corny, but hey, extra props if you can comment down below on who said this in SSX. When Mario, Luigi, and Peach are not shredding the slopes, they're playing some Street B-Ball, another EA Sports big tie-in.
EA Sports!
NBA Street Volume 3 continued the EA-Nintendo exclusivity relationship. In the quick play mode, you can play as the Nintendo All-Stars team, which consists of the 3 iconic characters. Additionally, you can play on a Nintendo-themed court as well. This content is available right from the start, so you can enjoy it right away. If you've never played an NBA Street game, these are essentially over-the-top, trick-based street basketball games. Honestly, I've never been into simulation sports games, but when sports games are this over-the-top, I'm all in. While I personally liked NBA Street Volume 2 the most in the series, this exclusive content in the third game on the GameCube is really cool. Honestly, what happened to EA with their relationship with Nintendo? It'd be so awesome to see this kind of continued support nowadays, and without charging a premium and labeling it as DLC.
Hand in the cookie jar. Cease and desist. Ahora. Oh! Major airtime.
4x4 EVO 2 is, as the name implies, the sequel to the Dreamcast and PS2 release 4x4 EVO. While I recall the first game getting some attention, the sequel completely flew under the radar, and the GameCube release was actually a North America exclusive. However, while it was multi-platform here in North America, the GameCube version actually has 4 exclusive tracks to race on and 4 exclusive trucks to drive. While I would love to elaborate more on which trucks and tracks are exclusive, not much info can be found between the console versions, so we just have to go off the info on the back of the game's box. That being said, 4x4 EVO 2 is not really anything to write home about and is a fairly mediocre racing game from the time I put into it. It can be mindless fun if you're into free-roaming empty environments, finding invisible walls, and trying to see how much you can really drive your 4x4 underwater. Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut is indeed an enhanced port of the Dreamcast original release. While this version was exclusively released on the GameCube, and the first 2 Sonic Adventure games never released on the PS2 and Xbox, this particular version did find an HD re-release on the PS3 and 360. So, in that case, the game became available on more than one console, hence why I'm including it on this list. What's interesting is that even though the PS3 360 HD release came out many years later, it was still missing content from this specific version. Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut reworked a ton of visual assets, made numerous gameplay improvements, and added more content, such as playing as Metal Sonic, a mission mode, and what I thought was the coolest feature, the ability to play all 12 Sonic Game Gear games ever made. Those 12 games were Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Drift, Sonic Chaos, Sonic Spinball, Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, Sonic Drift 2, Tails Sky Patrol, Sonic Blast, and Tails Adventure. Now, Metal Sonic and the Mission Mode were available on the PS3 360 versions, if you paid for them as additional DLC. And even with that DX Upgrade DLC, it is completely missing the Game Gear releases. So, that makes the GameCube version of this the only place you can fully play the Game Gear Sonic titles. Granted, you will need to actually play the main game to unlock these, but that's definitely worth it. You can either play them using the full screen in 4x3 or a pixel perfect mode. Another cool bonus is that you can actually have a second player press start and play another copy of the game side by side on the same screen. Additionally, you can even play multiplayer Sonic Game Gear games together on the same screen. The only bummer is that there are no save states for these games, so you will need to beat them in a single run, most of them at least. So all in all, this really is the best place to still play Sonic Adventure. When Namco released Soul Calibur II for the 6th generation of consoles, their marketing strategy was to release an exclusive character on each platform. The PlayStation 2 got Heihachi from the Tekken series, Xbox got Spawn, and the GameCube got the coolest guest character of them all, Link. Easily a perfect fit for this weapon combat fighting game, Namco did a superb job nailing the feel of Link in a fighting game and doing the character justice. Excellent rendering and animations, and a moveset that easily matches moves that he would do. He could even access his bombs, boomerang, and bow and arrow. When this game came out, I remember everyone in school talking about it, but more so because they got the GameCube version just for Link. Soul Calibur 2 was already a fantastic game on its own merits, but this added content was phenomenal. Also, while the game did get an HD re-release on the PS3 and 360, Link was not allowed to appear on there, so if you want to play as him, you could only do so on the GameCube.
Final battle. Fight.
Mortal Kombat has always been a much beloved series, and one that does try to change things up. For the 6th Gen trilogy, which consisted of Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon, the fighting system was altered heavily by giving every character multiple fighting styles that you can switch between on the fly, as well as a weapon style. Now, Mortal Kombat Deception was a game that released several months on the GameCube after the PS2 and Xbox versions. And while those versions had online play, which was a first for MK history, the GameCube had no online functionality, even despite having a broadband adapter. In place of the online functionality though, Midway added 2 additional characters exclusively to the GameCube version, Goro and Shao Kahn. These heavy-hitting bosses now becoming playable was a neat addition that Mortal Kombat fans would definitely appreciate. While they are much slower than some of the other characters, the fact that they were added to compensate for the lack of an online play was a nice move. They even had their own endings to the arcade mode. Overall, even without the online mode, the game already had a good amount of content, including a pretty lengthy conquest mode.
Round 2. Fight! Flawless victory.
And there you have it, everyone. These are a handful of games that had exclusive content in their games specifically for the GameCube. Now, there may be a few other games that had exclusive content over other platforms that they were released on, in particular the games with Game Boy Advance connectivity, but that functionality will definitely be in an episode in the very near future that I plan on covering. But this is one of the things I loved about this generation, was that it capitalized on exclusive content based on the console, and further pushed incentivizing getting one game on a specific platform over the other if you had the option to do so. In a time where DLC was not even a thought, this was when publishers and developers had to get creative with the content being released in their games, and how to do some platform-specific extras. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.